It's the pre-party with J. Cal.
We are professional wrestling.
I'm building an alliance.
You are tuned into
The absolute top of the mountain, the ultimate professional wrestling.
Alliance-wrestling.com.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Alright, so hey, this is obviously not the typical setup, so please bear with me if things don't seem to go as well as they should. This is the pre-party. I am your host, J. Cal. This is a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. Guys, first of all, I missed you guys. Last week, your boy Jay was sitting on a beach. I was releasing sea turtles back into the ocean. And let me tell you, when you're on those beaches of Cabo San Lucas, make sure you're wearing socks and shoes. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but they have these things called sand fleas, and they are the absolute worst. And I've been itching ever since. So make sure you stay away from those. Yeah, that's the old overlay. Wrestling with MMA just pointed out he likes the overlay. Yeah, we've been using this one for a while, but again, trying to change things up a little bit. Going back to the old school. I notice I'm a little out of focus here. Does this make it better? Does that look better? All right. So what a week for professional wrestling, right? You guys go ahead and leave your comments. I am checking it out. I will engage you guys. So I want to first say hello to Willie Bowen. Terry, welcome back. I hope you're feeling much, much better. Lamb, you're the man. And God, what a great day. You know, this is what we've been anticipating. This is what I have wanted the NWA to do for about 3 months. But we'll get into all of that here in a minute. I do have format I do need to follow. So again, first and foremost, this is the pre-party. Thank you guys for spending your time with us today. It is a busy Tuesday. Man, I haven't felt like this in a long, long time. We used to do on Instagram, we used to do the Tuesdays with Jay, where I would literally show you guys what my day was getting ready for the podcast, getting ready for the pre-party. Man, it's been a busy day. Now first, I said that twice already. I do want to take a little bit of a somber note here. I'm sure many of you heard about the former NWA World Jr heavyweight champion, Jimmy Rave. Now Jimmy Rave, is more known probably from his Ring of Honor experiences than maybe his NWA experiences. Especially if you're a longtime Ring of Honor fan, you might remember him from the Embassy and his feuds with AJ Styles, or back in like 2008 when he was feuding with Nigel McGuinness over that Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, neither of those opponents ever materialized into a title, Ring of Honor World title for him, but he was a perennial challenger to all of the NWA titles. He was a 2-time NWA World Jr Heavyweight Champion. He parlayed his success from the NWA to sign on with Impact Wrestling, where he teamed with Lance Hoyt. You guys know him in AEW as Lance Archer, as the Rock and Rave connection. Worked with Impact, helping to train talent for Ring Ka King. Made his debut there, teaming with Zema Ion. He was even a part of the NWA 4-man elimination match at the Ohio State Fair when the Sheik forfeited the championship, or was stripped of the championship rather. Adam Pearce took on 3 opponents. I say Adam Pearce, but it was a 4-man elimination featuring the NWA National Champion, who is Chance Prophet, the NWA North American Champion, who was Sean Tempers, Jimmy Rave, who was a former junior heavyweight champion, and of course the former champion Scrap Iron Adam Pearce. What does that all mean? What does this all have to do with anything? Well, Jimmy Rave unfortunately had a medical injury. He had a really bad infection in his arm, and it was so bad that out. And for the guy, it's very unfortunate that his wrestling career is over, and that's all he's ever done as a young man. I mean, he started with NWA Wildside under Murder One was his trainer. He was also a part of that Wildside crew for such a long time in NWA Anarchy, and now that's all done. I'm sure there are other ways he could still contribute to the world of wrestling, but that part is, at least, it's rough. And so if you guys can, I'd love for you to make a donation. Any amount will help. I've seen that there's like 79 people who've already donated. Their goal is $20,000. I don't even know if that covers his medical expenses, but anything you can contribute would be much appreciated, as well as his Pro Wrestling Tees store. You could just look that up, prowrestlingtees.com / Jimmy Rave. Also, if you're looking for the links to either his pro wrestling tees or his GoFundMe, they're both on our social medias, but you can find them also at alliance-wrestling.com, and just look up the Jimmy Rave story that's on the front page right now. It's really a really bummer, guys. I'll be honest. That one kind of hurt. We've talked about over the past couple of weeks where the Alliance guys are working on a retrospective of the World Junior Heavyweight Championship, and I've actually reached out to Jimmy a couple of times, and for whatever reason it just never landed. We never got an opportunity to sit down with him, but I really hope that maybe we can and celebrate the legacy that he had as our junior heavyweight champion, and hopefully talk about the good times of professional wrestling that he had. But again, it was such a bummer. I saw that Lamb wanted to go ahead and sorry about the phone call. Lamb went ahead and brought up the interview that we did on Thanksgiving. Now, that was previously recorded, but we decided that'd be the best place to showcase the interview we did with former NWA World Jr Heavyweight Champion Barrett Brown. That was a great interview. I really enjoyed talking to Barrett Brown. You could also go to our Spotify or Amazon Music, wherever you go to listen to our podcast, and listen to that same podcast. But yeah, we talked to Barrett Brown, and what a great guy. Can't wait to see what's next for him, and hopefully, someone asked on that video if I thought Billy Corgan would bring back the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship, and to be quite frank, no, I don't think he will. But I don't know where exactly they're going to go in 2021. I mean, this year has been such a strange, odd, peculiar, damn near cursed year that who knows. But, the NWA focused on a lot of different things. They were trying to distinguish themselves from everyone else that was running wrestling promotions. They wanted to use more heavyweights that were more consistent with the style of wrestling that that William Patrick Corgan grew up with, and that represented the NWA with the heavyweights. And so he's got a bevy of talented guys. I mean, things have changed a bit, but I mean, when you opened up that NWA Power roster, there was a lot of really solid heavyweight guys who could cut great promos. It was a really good group of roster, a great roster. So I don't know if they have room for a junior heavyweight division. It really depends on what they plan to do going forward. If the NWA decides to continue with Shockwave and reintroduce Power down the road, I mean, there's an ample time to showcase your champions. But I don't know. I mean, let's face it, anything could really happen. Let me take a sip here. And I want to again say hey to Dave Scooby, the best sound man in the business. Willie Bowen says Davey Boy Smith versus Jordan Clearwater. That'd be something to watch. Ryan Romano, hey Ryan, I checked out that video. Thanks for the pop, man. Thanks for the plug. I appreciate that. This show is predicated on an audience that is very, very small. I mean, our niche, the NWA, is very niche. United Wrestling Network is very niche. You talk about pro wrestling, and then you even make it into a smaller subset. But I genuinely appreciate all you guys that check out the show. You guys really are helping to make this fun. I noticed that I'm getting some bad vibes over there on the computer, so I hope you guys are seeing this okay. But I digress. So one thing we talked about before I went on vacation was introducing a superstar of the week, where each week we would bring in a superstar to speak of, and there was a lot of good options. Of course, Jordan Clearwater winning the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Heritage Championship was certainly someone that I thought about, but the man that I put the superstar of the week, the very first Alliance-Wrestling.com superstar of the week, is none other than Fred Rosser. Now, Superstar of the Week is presented to you by this nifty Alliance Wrestling cap. You can get yours for $25. We just got these in last week. They're pretty cool for $25. That's no shipping. Slide into those DMs if you're interested. But but Fred Rosser, joined the United Wrestling Network family back in September when he first debuted for New Japan Strong. Now, I know that New Japan Strong isn't a part of the United Wrestling Network, nor is it a part of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, or is it a promotion we even really cover here at alliance-wrestling.com. But since joining New Japan Strong, Fred Rosser has kind of permeated into the United Wrestling Network. He competed in about 7 episodes of New Japan Strong, and he has victories over Clark Connors, victories over Jordan Clearwater. Of course, he was an integral part of the United Wrestling Network World Title Tournament, having victories over, oh my gosh. Well, we know he beat Eric Redbeard in a disqualification match and lost to Chris Dickinson in the semifinals. He also had victories over James Storm and Chris Masters in probably one of the biggest star-studded matches for Primetime Live. So that's not the only reason why I give him the edge, but I specifically give him the edge because last week he defeated Sean Davari, who, again, was a semifinalist for that World Title Tournament, thus really kind of establishing a claim to being maybe one of the next challengers for that world title when he is crowned, or if Dickinson or Bennett are unable to compete in that tournament, maybe he can convince the championship committee to put him into that tournament. I'm not exactly sure, but that's how I would slot it. That's how I would see it. Let's see more of your comments. Oh, you guys like the interview. Well, thank you, Terry. And Ryan, again, thanks for helping us out with that. So, a lot of people have been asking me, Jay, what is NWA Aftershock? Should I be excited about this, or is this just a bunch of reruns? And I'll be honest with you, this is what I've been asking for months. The only problem is this is what I've been asking for months. I feel like the execution for NWA Shockwave, although we don't really fully know what it is yet, we will know in about an hour, they should have pivoted like 2 months earlier. These matches have been in the can. If it's just what we've been told, which is that we know that the first match is going to have Mike Bennett and Nick Aldis. I think that's the main event. Camille and Heather Monroe. Remember, these matches were shot back on September the 15th. And I'll give you one extra. Eli Drake and Jordan Cruz was also filmed back on September 15th at the Thunder Studios. That was a dark match for Primetime Live. How do I know? I was there. And, here's the thing. This is something that they should have done a while ago. I don't know exactly what the plan is going forward for Shockwave, but, look, I know nobody at the NWA is listening to me. Because, number one, if they were listening to me, Maureen would still be employed. But if they were listening to me, that this Shockwave show would be a half hour to 45 minutes. You'd get one new match each week. Jordan Cruz versus Eli Drake. That would be your match. We would show clips of Nick Aldis versus Mike Bennett. In fact, we would take Mike Bennett aside and have him talk about that match and build up to a sequel, build up to a rematch that would direct fans back to Primetime Live in case they want to build that match up again. Or if the NWA is prepared to produce live events again, they could use these interviews, these segments to build up to that next match. Guys, our NWA World Heavyweight Champion hasn't defended his title since September the 15th. Now, I understand, and before you guys get all upset at me, yes, I know. I know that on, December 10th, that Nick Aldis is going to defend against Brian Pillman Jr. But let me ask you this. Where's the 10 pounds of gold? Where are the hype videos? There's nothing happening with this, and it makes it feel like less than routine. It makes me feel like this is less than worth their time. I'm not using the right words here, but I think you follow me. If this is such a pedestrian title defense that they're not even going to do a 10 pounds of gold for it, what is the point of even having this match? The NWA is desperate for content. They are literally releasing matches that were filmed 2 months ago on pay-per-view that most of the viewing audience has already seen. So again, I hate to trifle with the NWA because I do respect Nick Aldis. I do respect William Patrick Corgan. And I do feel like there's a huge opportunity for the NWA to be successful, to be vibrant, to be one of the top wrestling promotions in this country, if not the world. But I don't know if NWA Shockwave gets us there. I know 10 pounds of gold was all we needed to get us to All In. 10 pounds of gold is all we needed to get us to the NWA 70th anniversary show. Forget about Power for a minute. We can't even get live wrestling events anymore. And if it's not the NWA, if the NWA does not get us there, how are we going to get there? So, again, I don't know for sure what this show is going to be tonight. I could be mistaken. This might be such a great rehash of these matches. It might get you super excited again. And again, I don't know what the filming schedule was like for these. I know for a fact that dark match was taped on September 15th because I was there. I also know that they did a dress rehearsal on September the 14th with a couple of matches. Those may appear, those may not appear. I'm not sure. And, I don't know if it's Joe Galley going to be hosting this. I don't know if Kyle Davis will be a part of it. I don't know how much of this is going to feel like NWA and how much of this is just going to feel like a rerun of Primetime Live. But I'm hoping for the latter. I hope to be let me rephrase that. I hope to be pleasantly surprised. I hope to be wrong. Because, again, I do want the NWA to pivot. I want the NWA to present damn good wrestling. That's what they did. That's what got us all suckered in to NWA Power. In fact, I'll take it a step further. That's what got me in. That's how I bought into what Lagana and Billy Corgan were doing when they brought Tim Storm to Hollywood and showcased the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. When they presented him, they didn't even do title matches. They put him in the ring with Zicky Dice before he was Zicky Dice. They put him in the ring with J.R. Kratos before he was the NWA Tag Team Champion, and just showcased the World Heavyweight Champion. There's got to be opportunity for them to showcase Nick Aldis in a similar fashion without a TV show behind it. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I want more than what the NWA wants. But some of your comments. Lamb says, it would be interesting now with Mike Bennett being back in Ring of Honor and Dickinson still out. I mean, look, that's the one thing we know for sure about Primetime Live. It's not really subjugated by restrictive wrestling promotions. Like, they are open for business in many ways like the NWA was open for business. They've booked champions from, competitors. Alexander Hammerstone works for MLW. He is a contracted MLW athlete. The same with Davey Boy Smith Jr. He's got a deal with MLW. But they're able to work with Primetime Live because there are no restrictions for having them come in and do a match. And who knows? Maybe there's a working agreement is forged from this. What MLW does on their TV program is completely separate from what Championship Wrestling from Hollywood does, but that doesn't mean we can't see the best from Hollywood take on the best from MLW on Primetime Live. We've seen some of it already. Although I don't think you'll see the Contra unit on Primetime Live. Terry says the NWA needs to hire me. Terry, at this point, if they asked, I don't know if I'd even want to, because I'll tell you this, man. I do enjoy what they do, but I'm independent. My opinions are my opinions, and nobody is going to tell me what to say, think, or do. When you guys watch this podcast, you're hearing an uncensored, unfiltered opinion. I can say whatever I want about Championship Wrestling from Hollywood or Primetime Live or the NWA because I'm not connected to these guys. I know David Marquez very well. Hell, I'm sending David Marquez a Christmas card. But that doesn't mean that if I think Championship Wrestling from Hollywood sucks one day, I'm not going to say, well, it sucks. And there's been very, very many times where I've told Dave that I was unhappy with his product. They're on Primetime Live. I've told him directly to his face, hey, this is the best work you've ever done. This is the best thing that your name's ever been attached to. And there's been times where I've regretted saying that because it sucked. But right now, I'm happy with Primetime Live. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very ecstatic with the way Primetime Live is going. They got a little muddy in the water there a couple weeks ago, but last week was solid. And I think this week is going to be just as solid. So I'm really looking forward to that. Dave Scooby says they need to step up their game. Anytime an NWA talent is on Primetime Live, they need to tape a dark match or do classic clips of talent before they were in the NWA. 100%. David, I don't know if I'm rubbing off on you or if you're rubbing off on me or we're sharing the same brain here. But again, I don't own anything. I don't run anything. But if someone wanted to hear my opinion, I'll tell you this. Okay, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood tapes on a Saturday and Sunday about once a month. They film about 8 episodes. That gives you about 2 weeks of television. Think of it that way, 2 weeks of television. I know they also film New Japan Strong, again, about 2 months of television, all in one spot, in that Port Hueneme Ocean View Pavilion, the home of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, the home of New Japan Strong. There could very easily be a way to get an NWA show and put it on right there. Why they don't do it, I don't know. You guys have to respectfully ask the leadership of the brand why they don't do something like that. Is it money? Very well could be. Is it time? Is it the inability? Is it because they don't have the right people in the right places? Aaron Stevens is your NWA World Tag Team Champion, and he's working with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I think there's ways to get this stuff done. They just don't do it. You bring in an NWA talent to do 8 weeks of television in Port Hueneme on a Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, give them Monday off, or hell, have them go to Long Beach on Monday and tape a few dark matches or unrecorded matches and build something. That's what I would do. What's it cost? $10,000? $15,000? You need to keep that fan base that you've invested so heavily in over the last 2 years, or else you're going to lose them. And once you lose them, they're gone. That's it. Now, you might be able to get some of them back, but you're not getting all of them back. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Terry McDermott says, I hate that we lost Stu Bennett, but people need to earn a living. Absolutely. Look, we could start going down the litany of names who've left the NWA, but at the end of the day, they're not producing television. They don't have any live events. They don't have a need for Stu Bennett right now, not until they get back into the studio. They don't need Joe Galley until they're back in the studio. The surprising one, and I meant to talk about this earlier, but was the dismissal of Maureen Tracy. Now, Maureen was always super kind to us here at the Alliance blog. Nothing but nice things to say about Maureen. She was always very, very kind, always with a smile, never hesitated to give me help when I asked for it. But, as far as I knew, she was kind of the head of merchandising, right? What do they have that's making money anymore? The Patreon? Merchandise. You just got rid of the person that takes care of merchandise. And I don't know, maybe she left on her own accord. Maybe she decided to leave. I don't know. that I'm not aware of it. I probably shouldn't speak of it that way. I don't know what happened between Maureen and the NWA, and honestly, I don't think it's any of my business anyways, nor is it any of your business either. We just know that they're no longer working together. And I think it's a shame because, again, I thought Maureen did a lot for the company. But, again, Billy Corgan has a 20-year plan. That's what he said from day one. And for the most part, he stick to what he said. If you go back and listen to old interviews, hell, you listen to him during the press conference that we have on our page, on our YouTube page, or if you even go back to listen to the 70th or the Crockett Cup meet and greet that's also available on our YouTube page, you could hear him. He talked about the TV title. He talked about using talent from a local base and more, promoting events in the Southeast, in North Carolina, in Atlanta, in the Crockett Stomping Grounds. So, he's been true to his word. COVID sucks, guys. COVID put a lot of these plans on pause. But I still think there's an opportunity to pivot, and I still think there's an opportunity to do more. And that's where my struggle is. I feel like they're dragging their feet on things, and I think they could be taking advantage of these opportunities that are in front of them. Why hasn't Aldous been back to Primetime Live? Why hasn't Trevor Murdoch been to Primetime Live to defend his national title? Why hasn't the Pope returned to Primetime Live to defend that TV title? You had give all the credit in the world to Thunder Rosa and the NWA Women's Division, because when it's not on Primetime Live or Mission Pro Wrestling, hell, it's out on AEW, and now the champion is defending the title on AEW programming. So, Serena Deeb, you got to give her all the credit in the world. Thunder Rosa, got to give them all the credit in the world. That women's division is probably the best part about the NWA right now. Truthfully. Okay, 30 minutes till Shockwave, so we'll try to get through this pretty quickly. Again, I hope you guys do check out Shockwave. I do. I know what I've said, and it sounds like I'm very dismissive of what they're trying to do, but I think if the fans show that they're into it, they're going to be into it. And, hopefully that's what happens. I did see that Wrestling with MMA says that maybe the champ rubs people the wrong way. Yeah. That's the Strictly Resistance. Dave Scooby says, Billy has a plan, but I believe Lagana did so much production-wise, the NWA was left high and dry when he left with no one to replace him. And I do believe that is a very integral part of the problem as well. But at the end of the day, I'm a business owner. If my business doesn't execute what it's supposed to, it hurts my bottom dollar. It takes food out of my mouth. It takes food out of my employees' mouth. I have to deliver for my customers. Otherwise, my customers are going to go down the street and do business with my competitor. It just doesn't make sense. If I have a wrestling promotion, okay, we lost parts of the wrestling promotion. You know what? There's a wealth of talent. Not just wrestlers, not just announcers, not just referees, not just office managers, not just merchandise managers, not just social media managers, not just storytellers, not just writers, videographers, directors, producers. There are people out there that need work. Billy Corgan is connected to the music industry, and I'm sure that means he has connections to the Hollywood industry, and I'm sure he can find some young guy who is very interested in helping the NWA reach that next level. He just has to do it. It's just period. He just has to do it. All right, so that's enough. I don't, again, my job isn't to beat up on the NWA every week, and it might sound like it. They're putting out a damn new show tonight. We should all be excited. Reserve our judgments until the show actually airs. I don't care if it's matches from September 15th. It's still relatively new content. Hopefully they put a spin on things. We see things from a different light. They can highlight things that they want to highlight. They can start telling their own stories based on matches that have already happened. You could still do this. This is all can be retconned and bring us right forward to whatever's next for the NWA. Hopefully this continues and it's not just a one-off. I really hope this isn't just a one-off. Okay. So, speaking of Jordan Cruz, he again, will be facing Eli Drake in just about 30 minutes. But then we also have Jordan Cruz joining the Primetime Live roster yet again. The last time we saw him, he quite literally got his butt kicked over and over and over again by Chris Dickinson. Tonight, he gets a shot at Jordan Clearwater in that Hollywood Heritage Championship. Now, I don't know if this match was booked before title, but certainly this is an opportunity that Jordan Cruz could capitalize on and make a huge name for himself, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen at the expense of Jordan Clearwater. They have kept him off of Primetime Live for a while. Last week he was here, but he took the L in that three-way elimination match to Richie Slade, so we don't know for sure what's going to happen in that matchup, but that's one match that I think you're going to enjoy. I think if Jordan Cruz is here and ready to perform, I think you're going to see a pretty excellent match. Fred Rosser, our Alliance-Wrestling.com Superstar of the Week, he's going to take on the Beef Candy Richie Slade. Now, Richie Slade got a victory last week when he eliminated Jordan Clearwater. In fact, Lamb kind of made the point on Instagram that Richie Slade should be in line for a Hollywood Heritage title match, and I can't really disagree with him. The two had been feuding quite often on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. In fact, just a few weeks ago, Clearwater delivered the Midas touch to Richie Slade, knocked him out of the ring, and his manager/partner, Flex McCallan, took him to the back. So we'll see what happens there. Next, we have Davey Boy Smith Jr. making his Primetime Live debut against Slice Boogie. Slice Boogie has been grossly underestimated. Slice Boogie has been one of the highlights of Primetime Live. And I'm telling you, the way we talk about Ray Rosas, the way we talk about Watts, the way we even talk about Danny Limelight, I think next year we're going to be talking about Slice Boogie in the same manner. Again, we mentioned it week in, week out. He is a graduate of the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, one of the best damn wrestling schools there is. Period. And you've seen students from Santino Brothers appear in Ring of Honor, like Brody King or Tyler Bateman. We've got in the United Wrestling Network, there's a whole bevy of Santino Brothers. That influence is just spread out. If you guys watch NXT, Jake Atlas is a graduate. Heather Monroe is a graduate. Who else? I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of people. Ruby Reyes, Dom Kubrick. There's just so much good talent coming out of that school, and you see them just maturate all over pro wrestling. So, of course, he's taking on a former NWA Tag Team Champion, a former WWE Tag Team Champion, a former IWGP Tag Team Champion, a former NOAH GHC Champion, Tag Team Champion, a Global Honor Crown. I mean, Davey Boy Smith is a tag team specialist, but let's not sleep on the fact that this is one bad dude. He defeated Jake Alexander at Bloodsport 3 back, I think it was 2 months ago. He challenged Jacob Fatu of the Contra unit. He challenged Jacob Fatu unsuccessfully for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship. I think our boy Hammerstone's going to end up taking that belt sooner than later. But Davey Boy Smith Jr., again, is a well-accomplished athlete. And making his debut on Primetime Live against the likes of Slice Boogie, I think is really exciting. I think it gives the opportunity for Slice Boogie to really show what he's got against one of the best available wrestlers right now. Plus, it showcases what Davey Boy Smith Jr. can do. When there is a United Wrestling Network World Champion, you got to believe that Davey Boy Smith is going to be one of the contestants for that title. He's going to challenge for it for sure. They basically gave that away when he appeared last time. Didn't actually wrestle, but showed up. Real quick, I'm going to jump on your comments. Willie Bowen says, Shockwave, will it be shown on YouTube? Willie, yes. 30 minutes or 20 minutes. Head to NWA YouTube channel. That's where Shockwave will be. Dave Scooby answered that. And then Lamb says, Clearwater versus Slade for the title at the 500th episode in a few weeks. Lamb, is that your guess or was that announced? I haven't seen that yet. And then also on Primetime Live, the United Wrestling Network television champion Levi Shapiro with his boy Howdy will take on Anthony Idol. Now, the last time we saw Anthony Idol on Primetime Live, we mentioned Jordan Cruz. Anthony Idol got his butt kicked by Chris Dickinson, and Chris Dickinson had a way of doing that. But Anthony Idol is one of these guys that he took that loss and then he turned that into motivation. When he went back to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, he got victories over Jesse James of True Grit, and he also had victories over Jordan Cruz. Now, I don't exactly know why those two victories put him in an opportunity to challenge for the TV title. I'm not exactly sure what the championship committee looks for in these things, but I know that prior to, going back to last year, the PP3 Cup, Anthony Idol made it to the finals and could have won, had it not been for Ray Rosas doing some underhanded tactics, basically using Anthony Idol to hit the referee in the private parts, thus getting him disqualified. Anthony Idol was not able to capitalize on that, though, after the loss. He never really got that shot at the Hollywood Heritage title. When Watts put that title up, we know that Idol was one of the guys that ran out there to challenge, but it was Rosas who would get the match. So it remains to be seen, but I do like Anthony Idol. I think he is a very one of the top wrestlers that I think he's entirely underutilized. I think he's going to really bring something to the table. I think he will be again one of these guys we're talking about in next year's. Wow, he really adds a lot to the show. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, Levi Shapiro, I mean, they paid off Jack Cartwright on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and then still put the boots to him. I'm not sure what he's going to bring to the table tonight. You're not going to pay Anthony Idol off. Howdy isn't going to be able to buy off Anthony Idol. So I'm not sure what we're going to see in this match. One thing that we do know is that Levi Shapiro, when he's taking on Dan Joseph, he has a height advantage. Usually has that weight advantage, although Joseph has been very, very powerful. Shapiro has got the reach and the height, and he doesn't have those with Anthony Idol. He just doesn't. So we might see a new champion tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did. But that's gonna do it for this week's for the card, And okay, and Lamb says it is official. Dustin Starr announced it for the podcast. Howdy Price offered Jesse James something. Maybe this will play a big part today in the main event. It could. I mean, it always can. It always could. The thing I would like to stress again is Primetime Live is putting on, again, a solid night of wrestling. 2 championship matches. You don't see a lot of filler here. We're seeing the debut of Davey Boy Smith Jr., who, let's be honest, is a perennial challenge to every title on the show. I mean, literally, he could be stepping in the ring against Levi Shapiro. In fact, kind of wish he would. So we don't really know what's going to happen tonight, but that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it exciting. And then you add this with the NWA Shockwave, and it starts at about 15 minutes. I'm really looking forward to all of this because I think it's going to add a lot to the shows tonight. I think the NWA Shockwave could kind of serve as a pre-party, if you will, to Primetime Live and really make that viewing experience even better. So, do you guys have any more comments? Do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have anything you want to talk about? We've got a few minutes before we're going to close it out, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Does anyone have anything they want to talk about? Looks like the answer is no. So again, guys, I really do appreciate you guys checking this out week in, week out. Again, I was really kind of gutted that we didn't have the pre-party last Tuesday. I was in Mexico. I took a family vacation. We were COVID safe. We wore masks the entire time. We even went and got COVID tested when we got home. And so far, no news is good news, I guess. But we really do appreciate you guys checking out this podcast every Tuesdays at the pre-party. Of course, you can join us Thursday night. We'll have an all-new episode of the Alliance Guys podcast. Finally, Kev is 100%, and DKM, we'll all be good. And we'll be talking about what happens tonight during Shockwave. We'll talk about what happens tonight on Primetime Live. I hope you guys will join us then. That goes 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Get in where you fit in. We'd certainly like to have you guys a part of that as well. But yeah, I missed you guys. Pure and simple. I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving for those of you that live in the United States. For those of you that don't, I just hope you had a nice Tuesday afternoon. Anyways, we'll wrap it up with that. I do appreciate you guys checking us out. Hopefully next week we'll be back in the home studio and not the work studio, because I feel a little bit out of sorts here. And I don't even know if the video is playing well, so I don't know if you guys are getting a good show or not. But I do appreciate you guys checking us out. Again, you can follow us on all social medias at The Alliance Blog. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr. Of course, you guys are either watching right now on YouTube or on the Twitch app. We appreciate you guys being here. Of course, you can still get these hats for $25. You just go ahead and slide into my DMs on any social media. I will respond to you, tell you how you can get one. Of course, if you're interested in the t-shirts, we have those available at the merch store. Just go to the alliance-wrestling.com website, hit the merch button. If you'd like to buy a hat, support the podcast, or a t-shirt, we'd greatly appreciate it. But we'll wrap it up because you got about 12 minutes, so go use the bathroom, go get a snacky, go get yourself a soda or a pop or whatever kind of refreshment you enjoy while watching wrestling. And remember to be positive, right? Stay positive, be kind. Be kind. That's really important. Be kind. But be positive, get positive, stay positive, and I'll see you guys at the matches. Now let's see if I can end the show right.
It's showtime.
It's the pre-intro. Nope, that's a t-shirt.